day, students. Today I'm very glad to meet you through this online forum. I'm very happy to present this supplementary lesson to you. Are you all ready, children? This is the supplementary for 8th standard, Unit 1. The name of the supplementary is The Women on Platform 8. The author of this supplementary lesson is Ruskin Bond. It is a beautiful lesson, I would say. When you read this or go through this, after this session you will realize that it is an excellent lesson, especially for our age, for your age, children, for your age. Section 1. It was my second year at boarding school and I was sitting on platform number 8 at Ampala station waiting for the northern bound train. See, the person who is in a boarding school is about to travel in a train and he is waiting at a station. The station name is Ampala station and he is waiting for the northern bound train. Ambala is in Haryana, okay? Haryana is a very nice hilly area where there would be plenty of residential schools. That's why here the author has given boarding school. Boarding means it is a residential school where the students stay in there and learn. And this small boy, he is at this second year. I think I was about 12 at that time. So the person who is traveling by train, who was about to travel by a train, he is saying that his age was around 12. My parents considered me train comes at 12 o'clock, that small boy is telling. Then come with me and have something to eat. So with a lot of love a lot of love, that lady is asking this boy to come with her and have something to eat. I was going to refuse out of shyness and suspension. Okay, so suspicious. He was a little suspicious about that strange lady. So, and out of shyness also, this boy is telling that he wanted to refuse it, but she took me by the hand, and then I felt it would be silly to pull my hand away. So I thought that no, it would be strange and silly for me to pull her hand just like that. So this boy also went with her. She told a coolie to look after my suitcase, and then she led me away down the platform. So she is taking me down the platform. Her hand was gentle, and she held mine either too firmly nor too lightly. So she was holding this little Arun's hand neither firmly or lightly. I looked up at her again. So again, this boy is looking at her. She was not young. She wasn't old. She was not too young. She was not too old. She must have been over 30. So she might have crossed 30. But had she been 50, I think she would have looked much the same. So she was looking little old. She took me into the station dining room. So she is taking me into the station dining room. Ordered tea and samosas and jalebis. And at once I began to thaw and take a new interest in this kind woman. So after ordering all this food, I was little taken up by her gesture, and he's very interested. This Arun, he had some special interest towards that kind woman. A strange encounter and a little effect on my appetite. I was a hungry schoolboy, and I ate as much as I could, as polite a manner as possible. So he started eating all the snacks. Of course, all the small children, even the small school children, they'll be loving to eat snacks. So like that, this boy is also, he was little hungry, and he don't want to keep his appetite, just he carried the snacks. He took obvious pleasure in watching me eat. So she was just looking at me. She was feeling very happy in watching me eat. And I think it was the food that strengthened the bond between us and cemented our friendship. So when you are having some friendship, what you will do? Immediately you will be inviting those people for a small tea or outside snack, whatever it is. Then after that, the bond between them will be strengthened. Like that here also, the boy and the women's friendship, it was strengthened after that snack. For under the influence of the tea and sweet, I began to talk quite freely. So after that, they did not have any hindrance between them. They talked freely. The boy was very free to share, and told her about my school, my friends, my likes and dislikes. So immediately he poured out everything, his likes, dislikes, friends, school, everything he started disclosing to her. She questioned me quietly from time to time. So she was also showing her curiosity. Okay, she was also asking so many questions from time to time, but preferred listening. But most of the time she was listening to Arun. She drew me out very well, and I had come forgotten that we were strangers. So when they came up from the dining room, this boy Arun, he completely forgot that he was a stranger to that lady. But she did not ask me about my family or where I lived, and I did not ask her where she lived. So they did not ask where both of them were living. Okay, yes. I accepted her for what she had been to me, a kind, kind and gentle woman who gave sweets to a lonely boy on the railway platform. After about half an hour, we left the dining room and began walking back along the platform. So, along the platform, they were walking towards the train. An engine was up and down, shunting up and down beside platform number 8. And as it approached, a boy leaped off the platform and ran across the rails. As the train engine was coming, a boy was leaping, jumping, and going across the rails, taking a shortcut to the next platform. He was at a safe distance from the engine, so there was no danger. Okay, yeah. The woman clutched my arm, so she um, held my hand tightly. Her fingers dug into my flesh, and I winced with pain. So I realized that pain. I caught her fingers and looked up at her, and I saw a spam of pain and fear and sadness pass through her face. She watched the boy as he climbed other platform, and it was not until she had disappeared in the crowd. So that boy, after crossing that rails, he just got disappeared in the crowd, that she relaxed her hold on my arm. So as she was seeing that happening, she was holding my hand tightly, and I could feel that pain. She smiled at me reassuringly and took my hand again, but her fingers trembled against mine. So after this incident, her finger was trembling. He was all right, I said. That boy was all right. He just got disappeared in the crowd. Don't worry, ma'am, I was telling her. Feeling that it, feeling that, um, yes. Okay. Where is it? It was she who helped reassurance. She smiled gratefully at me and pressed my hand. So she got hold of my hand, and she was um, expressing her gratefulness. We walked together in silence until we reached the place where I had my suitcase. One of my school fellows, Satish, a boy of about my age, had turned up with his mother. So one of my classmates, schoolmate, he came with his mother. I found him. Section 2. He is just talking. That boy is talking to this Arun. Hello, Arun, he called. The train coming in late as usual. The train is coming late as usual. Didn't you know we have a new headmaster this year? So they were exchanging words. Okay, they were just talking about the school. That small boy is talking about his school. We shook hands. Immediately they shook hands, and then he turned to his mother and said, This is Arun, mother. He's just introducing to his mother. This is Arun's mother. He is one of my friends and the best bowler in the class. So he is just telling that he is a best bowler. I'm glad to know that. That mother is saying that I'm very glad to know that. Said his mother, a large, imposing woman who wore spectacles. That lady, he was just what is it? Giving an impressive appearance, impressive look. Uh, who was wearing a spectacles? That lady was wearing a spectacles. His friend Sati's mother, she was wearing a spectacles. Yes. She looked at the women who led my hand and said, "And I suppose you are Arjun's mother?" She's asking. I opened my mouth to make some explanation. Immediately Arun, he wanted to explain something to that lady. But before I could say anything, the woman replied, "Yes, I am Arjun's mother. I am Arun's mother, sorry." I was unable to speak a word, so that time I couldn't have any time to say. I could not deny that. I looked quickly up at the woman, but she did not appear to be all at embarrassed. So I don't want to put her in an embarrassing situation, and was smiling at Sati's mother. Sati's mother said, "It is such a nuisance having to wait for the train right in the middle of the night." So in the middle of the night we have to wait for that train. It is a great nuisance. It's a nonsense. It's a great thing to wait. But no, but one cannot let the child wait here alone. But no one will allow the child to wait alone. Yes. Anything can happen to the boy at a big station like this. Yes. It is a very big station. So anything may happen to the children. So that mother, Sati's mother, she is expressing her thoughts. There are so many suspicious characters hanging about in the station. These days, one has to be very careful of strangers. So, like this, many things, strange things would happen. So, we should not leave the children alone, she was telling. Arun can travel, yes, Arun can travel alone though, said the woman beside me. So the stranger woman, she was telling that Arun can even travel alone. And somehow I felt grateful to her for saying that. I had already for forgiven her for lying, and besides, I had taken an instinctive dislike to Satish's mother. So she already lied, isn't it? She was not Arun's mother, but she said she was. Well, be very careful, Arun, said Satish's mother, looking sternly at me through her spectacles. So she was just looking like this and she was telling that, be careful. Be very careful when your mother is not with you. So when your mother is not with you, that time you should be very, very careful, my dear boy, she was telling. And never talk to strangers. So if there is a situation like that, you should not talk to any stranger also that time. I looked for Satish's mother to the women who had given me tea and sweet, and then back at Satish's mother. I like strangers, I said. Satish's mother definitely staggered a little, as obviously she was not used to being contradicted by small boys. Staggered means walked or moved steadily as if about to fall. Okay, she was just uh, stumbling. Okay, yeah. There you are, you see. If you do not watch over them all the time, they will walk straight into trouble. So you should be very, very careful in walking. She was just telling Arun. Always listen to what your mother tells you. So you should listen to your elders. If you're not listening, you will be put in trouble later. She said, wagging a fat little finger at me. She was just wagging. Okay, the tail will be wagging, isn't it? The dog's tail, like that. She was just wagging a finger. And never, never talk to strangers. She was giving a very strict and stern um, instruction. I glared resentfully at her and moved close to the women who had been befriended me. So resentfully, yes, feeling or expressing bitterness or indignation at having being treated unfairly. So this boy is just resentfully at her, and glad means just looked, okay, and moved close to that friend who, that strange woman. Satish was standing beside his mother, grinning at me. She was just looking at me and delighting in my clash with his mother. Apparently, he was on my side. So that lady, she was with Arun. The station bell clanked. Okay, the bell rang, and the people who had till now till now been squatting, sitting on the haunch, uh, resignedly on the platform, began hustling about. So they started um, to get themselves ready. Yes, here it comes, shouted Satish. So at that time, an engine whistled, shrieked with a sharp noise, and the front lights played over the rails. So there was a light, and the engine was coming towards them. The train moved slowly into the station, the engine hissing and sending out the waves of steam. So a lot of steam was coming out. It was hissing, the hissing sound of the engine. As it came to a stop, Satish jumped off the footboard of a lighted compartment and shouted, "Come on, Arun, it is this one's empty." And I picked up my suitcase and made a dash for the open door. So he also rushed, taking the suitcase. We placed ourselves at the open windows, and two women stood outside on the platform. The Satish mother and the strange lady. They were standing outside the platform, talking up to us. So talking to these two boys. Satish mother did most of the talking. So the strange lady, she was not having time to talk. But Satish mother, she took her hand up. Okay, she was talking. No, don't jump on and off moving trains as you did just now. So outside you have done, but in the moving train you should not jump up and down, she said. And don't stick your heads out of the windows. Don't put your heads out of the windows. And do not eat any rubbish on the way. So don't eat any rubbish on the way. She allowed me to share the benefit of her advice, as she probably didn't like my mother, a very capable person. She handed Satish a bag of fruit. So Sati's mother, she was talking, most of the talking was made by Sati's mother, and at last she is handing over a basket or a bag of fruits, a cricket bat, and a big box of chocolates, and told him to share the food with me. So you share with Arun, she was just telling. Then she took back from the window to watch how my mother behaved. So she was having some curiosity. Okay, she was having some thing in her mind. She just looked at my mother, how she was behaving. I was smarting under the patronizing tone of Sati's mother, who obviously thought mine a poor family. So my mother, the strange woman, she did not give anything. So obviously, Sati's mother, she was thinking that Arun hailed from a poor family. And I did not intend giving the other women away. I let her take my hands in hers, but I could think of nothing to say. But I didn't say anything, just held the hands of the women. I was conscious of Sati's mother staring at us with hard, uh, beady eyes. With big eyes, she was just looking at both of us, and found myself hating her with a firm, unreasoning hate. The guard walked up the platform, blowing the whistle for the train to leave. So that at last the time came. The train was about to move. I looked straight into the eyes of the woman who held my hand. The strange woman, I was just looking at her at last, and she smiled in a gentle, understanding way. She was just smiling. Okay, okay, yes, you have to move now. I leaned out of the window, then I put my lips to her cheeks and kissed her. So at last, this small little boy, he gave a kiss to that strange lady. The carriage jolted forward, and she drew her hand away. So the carriage, it moved suddenly with a jerk. Okay, with a jerk it moved. Goodbye, mother, said Satish. As the train began to move slowly out of the station, Satish and his mother waved to each other. So both of them, they waved to each other. Goodbye, I said to the other women. Goodbye, mother. I didn't wave or shout, but sat still in front of the window, gazing at the women on the platform, just looking a strange, straight look, steady look. Sadi's mother was talking to her, but she did not appear to be listening. But she did not listen to that lady. She was just looking at me as the train took me away. She took there on the busy platform a pale, sweet woman in white, and I watched her until she lost in the milling crowd. So that lady, she was completely out of my sight. The train started moving, and I just looked at her, I gazed at her, I saw her, and she was also looking at me with stern eyes and fixed eyes. At last, in the crowd, she lost herself. I couldn't see her as the train moved. So this was the story. It was a very nice story, and if you don't understand, you better read at least 2 or 3 times. Okay, you will understand it better. It is a very nice, beautiful story. But in his case, he believed the strange women. But in our case, we should not believe any stranger. So keep that in mind, children. Meet you in the next session. Take care. Bye. Good day.